Today I'll be talking about preparing for financial emergencies or unexpected expenses. Hello everyone, welcome back to Money Matters, Inspired Living with Modupe. Remember, this is the home for all things personal finance because your money matters, and also a place to get you inspired to become successful and also to be all that God created you to be. And so in this video, I want to talk about preparing for financial emergencies or unexpected expenses. Many people plan for anticipated expenses, things like your utility, transportation, feeding. We all prepare for it, whether we have it written down or we have it in our heads. One way or the other, we prepare and plan for it. But what most people do not do is that we do not prepare or plan for financial emergencies or unexpected expenses. However, whether you plan for it or not, financial emergencies, unexpected expenses, they never announce their arrival. They just happens. And when that happens, it can cause unbelievable or unimaginable stress, disruptions to our finances and even to our lives, because they are financial surprises which are beyond our control. I normally will tell people, it is not if financial emergencies will happen. They will happen one time or the other. The point is, when an emergency, financial emergency happens, when it occurs, will you be prepared? So I want to say now that we're prepared for a financial emergency or an unexpected expense. So how then do you prepare for a financial emergency or an unexpected expense? The best way for you to prepare for such is to have or create an emergency fund. An emergency fund will help to cushion the effect of a financial emergency or an unexpected expense. So what then is an emergency fund? Simply, an emergency fund is a fund, cash fund, set aside for an unexpected situation. You must create and start building an emergency fund. Emergencies, like I said, never announce its arrival. It just happens. Let me give example of some financial emergencies. They include, but are not limited to, the loss of a job, something getting spoiled in the house. Maybe you need to do a plumbing work, your spouse loses his job, or even the death of a breadwinner in the family. How do you cope? Or you become ill, you are not able to go to work, something that happens that will require you or will involve money. So prepare for financial emergencies. Financial emergencies are not always unpleasant. Sometimes they may include things like you getting a new job, probably a woman who has been a housewife, who has been in the house, who now gets a job. And then she has to prepare for the job. She has to buy clothes for work. This is not an unpleasant event. It is a good event, but it requires you to spend, unexpected expense. So it's important that you create or build an emergency fund. Let me point out that not everything that you call or term an emergency is actually a financial emergency. I hear people say things like, oh, I have a financial emergency. And I ask them, what is the emergency? The man might tell me, my wife just put to bed. And I tell them, it is not a financial emergency, because you had up to 9 months to prepare for the arrival of your baby. Some will tell me, I need to pay for my children's school fees. And I tell them, this is not an emergency. It is not a surprise coming to you. You already knew that you pay your children's school fees. Some will tell me, I need to pay for my house rent. And I tell them, if you are a yearly tenant, you had 1 year, 12 months to prepare for your rent. So it is not everything that you term as emergency that is a financial emergency. Christmas is not a financial emergency. When July, the 7th month, you still have about 5 months to plan for Christmas. Yes, so Christmas is not an emergency. No festival is an emergency because you already know that this thing for certain will happen. It is important that from today, you must start preparing and creating an emergency fund. How do you start preparing for an emergency fund? Number one, you need to plan. Number two, you need to find out how much should I have, even as a minimum of my emergency fund. I usually will tell people, and financial planners will tell people, it is important that you have at least 3 months of your living expenses. What is a living expense? It is simply how much it will take for you to live in a month. So ask yourself, how much do you spend monthly? If you do not know, all you need to do is to track your expenses. Ask yourself, how much do I spend on feeding? How much do I spend on accommodation? You can divide it into 12 to get how much you spend on accommodation per month. And then how much do you spend on other things? Taking care of yourself, personal grooming, things that you spend money on every month. Put them down, total it, and it will give you how much you spend every month. And then what you need to do is to multiply this by a minimum of 3 months. So if you spend like 20,000 every month, multiply the 20,000 times 3 months. It will give you how much you must have as a minimum in your emergency fund. But let me say here that the experience we had during the COVID-19 period taught us that having a minimum of 3 months living expense may not even cut it, because we saw that the experience, the COVID-19, people not having income lasted for more than 3 months. People have gone to say have 6 months, some are even saying have 1 year. And for some planners who live, for instance, in the US, will say that you must have a minimum of at least $1,000. You can start with what will work for you, but at least start creating and building your emergency fund. I can tell you, it is not easy, it is not fun, and it can be agonizing when you need money and there is no help at all in sight. So start to build your emergency fund. Start with a minimum of 3 months. Start putting them aside gradually. Think of ways of building extra income. If you need to take a side hustle, start a business or freelance, learn a skill and turn that skill into money-making venture. But you must start. Having an emergency fund is not negotiable. Be money wise. We're going towards the end of this year, and I want to assure you that if you do not have an emergency fund, it's never too late to start. And so, thank you for watching this video today. A big thank you once again to my existing subscribers. If this is the first time of watching my video or any of my videos, consider subscribing, as this will help my channel to grow, and also let people who are interested in money matters. I know everybody spends money. We're interested in money one way or the other. Please share to your friends, share to your colleagues, like the videos, and also I would love to hear from you. Has it been easy having an emergency fund? Or are you still thinking if it is necessary to have an emergency fund? I would love to hear from you. And so once again, Thank you so much. Be money wise. Be successful. I'll see you at the top. And God bless you. Bye.